after capitalism look like? Because I've heard this.
What I think would happen is just a rebrand of what we already have now. I think people would say capitalism ended and then they would rebuild it. But if people did not rebuild it, I think you would see homelessness would be ended. There would be so much more diversity. So much you'd see, especially like a lot of like disabled people. Like in general, you would see people that like would otherwise have been like afraid to go out in public. Clothing would be way more unique because people would wear whatever clothes they wanted to wear. And there's a lot more variety in that than people think about. They think, others would do. Everybody would be wearing masks or respirators because that's just the reality. Because by that time, pretty much everyone is going to be immunocompromised by COVID. And there'd be like new pandemics from climate change. We would actually like work on solving climate change, and like people would be able to do that. We would have huge, absolutely massive advances in technology. You'd also see like a large number of people going into like the STEM field. In general, you'd see like, and this is weird, but like I guess like you would see like a really huge boost in wealth because like people who normally would have been in like really like I mean, okay, so let me backtrack. Wealth is like not actual wealth, but I mean like wealth as in like intangible wealth. That intangible wealth. Because like ending capitalism isn't like ending an economy, it's just like creating a different type of economy. But yeah, you'd see a lot more people like in STEM and all that like type of stuff because like those were people that were like previously could only do like really like crappy jobs. Unfortunately, there would be work. People would have to have jobs just to like kind of like maintain society. It would be significantly less hours than now. And people would be like doing things that they like actually wanted to do. But there's some jobs that like people just aren't going to like want to do. So like eventually people would have to like do those. And again, it would be like infinitely better than what we have now, and it would involve like consent. And it like wouldn't be exploitative or dangerous. I think you'd also see like a really big increase in spirituality. I don't know that for sure, but something that I've heard is that like capitalism like kind of like kills that. I'm trying to think of other things. I think you'd see like a lot more kindness, just like people being kind. There'd be a lot less mental health issues regarding like suffering, but you probably would see like more mental health issues that are like no longer seen as like issues and they're like more positive things. Like imagine like unmasking for like autism. I imagine that for like other disorders. I think there would be like way more like art just kind of everywhere, especially like when it comes to like architecture. I think like a lot more effort would be put into social issues, and it like it would be a lot more work, but it would be a lot less difficult. Because right now, like one of the problems is that there's like so much like truly unimaginable suffering. That's like kind of like hard to deal with because of like how much there is. And so without capitalism, like that, it would be like significantly easier to like manage things and solve things and do like actual like preventative measures for stuff. Because it like wouldn't be so massively difficult. I think you'd also see new problems because nothing in the world is perfect. Obviously, there's some things that are like way worse than others, and there's some things where you're just like trading problems for different problems. In the beginning, it would be a very big culture shock. Privileged people would have a very difficult time adjusting. Things would look different because items and products are like being made in a way that's like intentional and also in a way that's like efficient and practical. As an example, I'm the type of person that like I'm interested in fashion, but most of the time I just like wear the most absolute like bare minimum things. So I would wear like essentially like super large like scarf clothes that's like, folded into like in the shape of clothes because I'm like sewing is just not a thing I enjoy doing. But essentially you'd like see that type of like simplicity for probably like a lot of different types of things. I also think like things in general would be slower because you don't have wealthy people that are like exploiting massive numbers of people to like achieve specific goals in like a short period of time, right? People can't just like start companies, they would have to like barter labor. But even though like things aren't like going as fast, things are also like a lot higher quality because people are doing things that like they actually want to do, and so they're like, there's a lot more like pride in that, and it's also stuff that like they like own. Workers owning the mean of production.